Hello, everybody. This is Stephen Whitfield with Drilling Contractor here at the 2024 Abu Dhabi International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference, otherwise known as ADIPEC. We're here at the Baker Hughes booth of the man whom, if you watch all of our videos, you might be familiar with, Domenico de Giambattista. We had a little interview last year about flexible pipe. He was in a room in Heathrow. We were on a Zoom call. But here we're in person, here at the booth. And we're going to talk once again about flexible pipe, but specifically about this pipe over here to our side here, the Python pipe. We're going to talk about its application in the industry and some cool things you might want to know about it. So Dom, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Steven. Good to be here. Exciting. It's a big opportunity. It's a big event, a lot of engagement, and happy to talk about the pipe on pipe again with you.
So first question, let's talk a little bit about this pipe. It's right over here. What makes it unique? What do we need to know about it?
So listen, first of all, we are talking about a spoolable composite pipe, right, which is based on the RTP technology, reinforced thermoplastic pipe, which is basically an assemble of unbonded layers, right? So if you think about it, there are three basic components of it. The internal liner, which serves to have the flow to go, which is fluid like hydrocarbon or gas. Then there is a reinforcement layer, and then the external layer does protect from abrasion. The layer who does the reinforcement type is glass fiber or steel wire. The internal layer is polymer, so HDPE, PRT, PA, nylon, or PPS. We're talking about, in terms of capability and pressure, between 200 psi up to 3000 psi, which depends on the reinforcement layer. And the temperature is around, the maximum temperature is around 180 degree Fahrenheit, right? So it does serve a range of purposes for all the hydrocarbon application and not only. So it's again a spoolable pipe which goes on reels. So even in terms of logistics, to think about each reel that can contain up to 2,000 feet of spoolable pipe, so very flexible for application as well.
So obviously we have an audience of drilling contractors, and with any product, we got to talk about sort of the value that it has in the world of drilling. So that would be my next question. What do we need to know about how this pipe can have help in drilling operations?
No, that's a good point, right? And thanks again for the opportunity, because it's a new product. It's a new technology that we are trying to introduce into the market, so not everybody is familiar with. So it's a product that is very solid in terms of technology. Qualified API 15S, so it fully undergoing to a series of tests to prove the life of field. The main characteristic, thinking about it, is the resistance to corrosion. Right? It doesn't need to be galvanized. Internally and externally is inert to corrosion or to the reaction to many of the gas components that we know. Different from the rigid kind of structure, allows also a more flexible field design, because you don't need to be specific in terms of distances and layout. You can figure it out later during the construction, during the installation. It can save up to 80% of the installation cost because of the truck cost, because of the logistic cost, because of the local operation cost to install the rigid pipe. And then, because of this component and characteristic, is really fit for purpose also for chemical injection, so for stimulation of the field. Is very much piggable, and it can be used also for pipe-in-pipe kind of application, where you need to revitalize the life of an old installation of steel, rigid pipe. We can use the Python pipe as well to pull it through the old pipe and restart with a new life of field. So it does serve different sets of purposes. It's very resistant, it's proven life of field, and it's very easy to install.
Obviously the corrosion resistance, I mean, you think about offshore and some onshore environments too, that's obviously going to be a big thing.
No, exactly. That's exactly one of the main points, right? That's why, for instance, we became very popular here in the Gulf as well. Because in terms of production, you remember, right? We have one site, actually two sites that do produce the Python pipe in Texas, one in Houston and one in Midland, and we have one site here in the region as well, which is in Saudi Arabia, in the Spark Industrial area, where we have a joint venture with Aramco. Novell is the name of the company that does produce the pipe. So in high corrosive environment, which can be the desert, which depends also on the fluid that you are moving inside the pipe, having a resistant pipe, non-corrosive kind of material can be really helpful.
And then lastly, carbon capture. I mean, we're here at this conference. Carbon capture is everywhere. You're hearing it in all these different presentations. Obviously, we're looking at products. That's one area in the world of drilling that people are kind of looking at ways to kind of get into. So how does this Python pipe help in that space too?
Very much focus on it, right? If you see around, we are in the Baker Hughes booth, right? There is a lot of focus in terms of carbon capture and in terms of new energy development. So based on what we say, then we just discussed in terms of permeability, in terms of corrosion resistance, the pipe really fits the purpose of moving CO2 inside it, right? And there are actually already some applications where we are already using the pipe for CO2 movement, which can be for capture and storage, but also using the CO2 as a thermal vector for heating purposes. And there are a few projects here in the region and in Europe as well. Not only that, the pipe itself, because of the technology, the production methodology, and the installation flexibility and the saving that is produced during the installation, can save up to 80% of CO2 emission during the entire cycle of production and installation. So it's a carbon footprint reduction product from the production itself into the utilization of it, right? Because of, again, the characteristic of the non-corrosive material and the permeation that allow the movement of the CO2. We are collaborating with other partners across the industries on different GIPs to further develop and to further test for the different kind of application that the carbon capture might require.
Well, Dom, thanks again. Always fun to sort of chat about flexible pipe. We were continuing our conversation. I'm sure in the future we'll have some more conversations about this too, but it's always fun to talk to you. Thanks again.
Steven, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to talk about Python pipe again.
And thank you for visiting Drilling Contractor.